The current market is still bustling hot. Like the waiters, we have been experiencing a lot of heat wave, and so it's a housing market. And I have some clients, the buyers, who are a little hesitant to jump into because they believe the market is going to crash. And for me, at least right now, I don't believe that's going to happen because we are having a health crisis, pandemic, viruses, but it's not a housing crisis. So if you have a buyers looking to buy cheap, just keep that in mind. It most likely is not going to happen for at least the remainder of the year. Inventory is still down compared to 2019 June, the same year. Actually, the same month. June 2019 compared to 2020, single family detached home, in fact, inventory is down 50%.
Oh my
That
God.
is really significant.
That's from the same month last year?
Correct. So I can even read you the number. Single family detached home traditional sale, not a short sale, not a bank. In June 2019, we had 4,622. This year, we only have 2,282. That's down 50.6%. That is huge. And then for the condo and townhouse, the attached, we have 2,116 in 2019 compared to only 1,439, and that's down 32%. And so I have been telling my clients inventory is down by 40%. I use the averages of those two. So the average of those, is, the combination is 44.6%. But again, it's just to go to show you inventory, it is really down.
Yes.
Single family detached home, the inventory is only 1.4 months. That means on the market, it only takes about a month and a half to sell all the single family detached home.
Well, that's
That's
good
a
news.
housing.
Let me ask you this. Is the current market situation good news or bad news for real estate agents?
Well, I think a good real estate agent is going to make business regardless any type of market conditions. You just need to adjust. You just need to pivot. I would say if you can get your hands on listing, um, then your house probably will sell. Obviously, there's still some houses don't sell, but if you get the house price correctly, you're going to have multiple offer situation. So far, yesterday we put in an offer. I put in an offer with another Centermac agent in San Diego. It was a $1.2 million home. They
Yes.
had multiple offers. We even lost out.
Oh.
It was like I think we have a close to, I think we have like a full price offer, or maybe $20,000 short of full price offer, but we
Okay.
removed the loan contingency.
Okay.
And it's still, and then we are very, very aggressive in terms of inspection and the loan, and still, it's market is crazy even at that price point. But the market segment has the most activity. It's actually 250,000 to 500,000. It's still the kind of like condo townhouses. I guess because most people, that's what people can afford if you have entry level buyers.
Are you seeing more and more entry level buyers this month, this year, compared to the same month last year?
Um, I do, and I'm just speaking for my experiences, but I also know that it's the segment with the highest growth. Um, so people are adjusting their expectation as well. If they couldn't get, let's say, $750,000 detached home, then they might kind of lower their expectation and then go buy a smaller townhouses and then wait for the market to improve in terms of their job market. This is actually, it already brought to home for me because I have this couple. They are first time buyer. Their budget is probably higher than I would say most have first time buyer. Their budget was up to 700,000. I did help them put in escrow for a new home, and I think it was like a low 700,000. The wife literally just told me the husband's company is telling him they're going to be some type of restructuring happening, maybe 3 months from now. They don't know whether he's going to remain in San Diego or is going to get relocated or we don't know yet. And so people have a lot of things at stake, with what's going on in the market. And my clients, he's pretty lucky. He can pretty much work anywhere he wanted because he traveled a lot.
Okay.
But at the same time, if the company want him to transfer to Poland, then he couldn't continue with the purchase in San Diego anymore.
I got it.
It is sad, and my client didn't want to leave. They love San Diego. They don't like raining weathers and things like that. But is it sad for the builder if my buyer don't buy? Well, not necessarily, because the market is still very strong. They don't buy. There are other buyers waiting.
I see.
That specific community has 400 people waiting list.
Yeah, recently you got several offers accepted. Share with us some of your strategies to get offers accepted in this market.
I like to kind of tailor my offer towards what might work the best for the seller and seller's agent. So my personal pet peeve is when I'm listing agents, the buyer's agent never contact me and they just shoot me the offer. They don't even follow up with me, see whether I receive the offer or not. I like to do a contrary. I like to have an open communications from the beginning. So I try to figure out, what the seller want. And of course, the number one thing usually is price, right? If you don't have the price that seller is at least happy, they will never look at it. And that's the thing. One thing I learned is if you are the buyer's agents, you could always ask the listing agent, the seller's agent, how do they intended to handle the offer. Keep in mind, it might changes all the time, but just ask them, are you going to respond offer all at once, or are you going to present offer as it coming? Are you anticipating having multiple offer, sell multiple offer counter? Do you think it will come back for a second round? Again, keep in mind, it changes minute by minute, because they might get an offer they couldn't refuse, and then they decide to accept it. But I usually use that as a guideline. I don't use that as a absolutely rule, because if they tell you offer deadline is 5 o'clock, and it's not even mentioned on the MLS, and you kind of keep that, use that as a guideline, you might lose out. And I have an agent like that, treat me like that recently. I told her I was going to send you the offer at a specific time, and she said, yeah, that's fine. We're not reviewing until X amount of time. And I sent it in, and then I keep following up with her. Did you get my offer? And then she eventually said yes. It was still the next day. She's like, I didn't even present your offer last night. I'm like, what are you kidding me? But anyhow, I knew I have a very good offer, so she did present it. And if she didn't present it, I'm going to force her to give me I shouldn't say force her. I'm going to ask her to give me a confirmation she did present it, because I knew when she told me she didn't present, I didn't think there was a reason she didn't present our offer, And ultimately, we did get that offer accepted, and that was, my buyer actually say they couldn't believe it. It was so smooth, because that was their first offer with me.
These days,
not even in San Diego.
These days, are you letting the seller select the escrow and the title, or you insist on your title and escrow?
That's the things. In San Diego, and that's all the deals I work with, I have received and then submitted probably hundreds of offers so far. I think I only remember maybe 2 or 3 people from the buyer side request their own escrow and title. And there was only one case we agreed to use their escrow, because their lender threatening to cancel the escrow because they don't want to use that specific escrow company. So that was only one. So I say, in order for you to have a strong offer, I usually just do seller selected escrow and title. And typically I ask the seller's agent ahead of time which title company you want to use, who is a rep, and then the same thing for the escrow officer. What do you like to use? Sometimes they are very happy to tell me, and then sometimes they just say, oh, just put seller's choices.
I see. Well, it's good to know. It's still the same, that if you're a buyer, usually you want to let the seller pick the escrow and the title.
Yeah, definitely. And one of the offers I got my buyer accepted, that one has 20 offers. This is probably one of the most probably competitive ones I have represented my buyer in. Not so much so for the offer number of the offer, because I know I have a very strong offer. I already calculate all the numbers.
Okay.
It's just how the listing agent responded in the seller multiple counter offer.
I see.
So I do believe the listing agent has a boilerplate. He responds to everybody the same, exactly the same, because we don't have a cash buyer. We have a buyer who need to do loan, and he's still countering on saying, if you are a cash buyer, you need to close, I believe, 8 days. And then he wants us to have a scheduled inspection within 5 days, and then contingency is 7 days. That's probably the most aggressive one I have seen from the listing agent side.
I see.
To counter back like this, and then removing loan contingency, removing appraisal contingency too.
Okay, well, let me ask you this. Price trend, is it still rising, or what's going on with the price trend right now?
The pricing trend is still increasing. I think, it's still, again, mainly because the low inventories. I think if the inventory is back to the same level as last year, you probably will start seeing a little bit softening trend, but that's not the case right now because of inventory. So my recommendation is, if you are and thinking about sitting on fence, want to sell, I would say get your house on the market ASAP.
Well, that's a good advice there. Well, thank you so much, Jean, as always. It's wonderful to have you in our training program. I think whatever information you share with us is good for both for new agents as well as for buyers and sellers that are thinking about whether to buy or sell in San Diego. So at the end of the video, we're going to put down in the description Jean's contact information, the email, phone number, WeChat and Line, whatever information that Jean is willing to share with us as to allow the buyer to contact Jean who wants to buy or sell, seller who wants to sell in the San Diego area. Thank you so much. You have a wonderful day.
Thank you. Bye,
Okay,
Kenny.
bye.